Recently, I've been exploring Godot and I found out there's no such thing as a pre-made table node available for the user interface. It got me all confused since I came from mostly drag and drop UI design. I've never imagined myself to be having such difficulty in creating a graphical user interface table, so I do what most people would normally do at this point. I Googled for the solution, and apparently you have to use the scroll container and it behaves very much differently from the normal Windows or database table that some of us know and familiar. Instead of wanting to create an old style table, it would have been much better to design the UI in such a way that utilizes the existing nodes. However, I would like to know if I'm able to achieve this with Godot. It also gave me a great chance to understand and getting familiar with the system. First, we have to understand how the scrolling in Godot works. Basically, you have the scroll container and a child node under it. This scroll container has the option clip content, which clips whatever that is outside of the scroll container bound by the size. When you scroll down, you are moving the y-axis of the child node or the x-axis of the child node when you are scrolling left or right. With that in mind, I will show you how I created the demo table. The first node is a grid container that serves as a table framework. The main node that holds the label and data will be under a control node instead of a scroll container because for some reason, I only managed to get the clip content option to work on the control node besides the scroll container. Next to it, you have the vertical and horizontal scroll bar nodes with any buffer of any container node at the last column. Under the control node, I have another grid container with two more child control nodes that separates the labels and data. This control function like the previous one, with the clip content option enabled. You have to manually update the max value and page of the scroll bar node via scripting, unless you have a predefined table size. The max value is the maximum size of the table, while the page is the size of the control node that used as clipping. Take note that the page changes while I resize the window because the size of the control changes. In order to keep the label static, I have to separate the scroll function into two controls. The horizontal scroll will move the child node of the first control that I've mentioned, which means updating the X position based on the scroll value. Meanwhile, the vertical scroll bar will move the child under the control that contains the data. This will keep the label and only update the Y position of the grid container for the data. There is this very important script that has to be added to both the control, which is this clip input function. This prevents the clipped item behind the control clickable. Alright, what I've shown you here are the core that makes my table works. Obviously, there's more coding needed to tweak the table into perfection. But with this core, you should be able to work your way or at least give you an idea on how to design your own table. Let me know in the comment section if you have a better way to do it.